your mind, what separates a good photo from a great image or an iconic shot?
In my world, I could use the cliches with timing and all that sort of stuff. And yes, it's about a moment, and that moment's there for a squilly second, and you've got to capture it. I did hear a nice quote years ago, and this is my mantra when I want a great picture, and that is that there's got to be a part of me in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's me thinking ahead with a vision, whether that's me being angry that day and putting some of that anger in the picture, that all my moods, swings, whether I go to a little bit of a physical effort and move to a point that's quite hard to get to, etc., that's when it becomes a great photo, when there's a little bit of me in there. And when that picture comes out, you know that there's a little heartbeat to that picture, and that's you. I don't want to talk about cliches. The timing and all that, that's how it is.
Cliches are cliches because they're often true.
But right here and now, my way of thinking is I think ahead, and I visualize pictures. Again, sometimes I've got to work to my client. They're the ones who are going to pay my bill in the end, and that puts food on the table or allows me to buy more gear, etc. But when you've got that chance to do something creative and think ahead, that's part of you in that picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Excellent. So of all the Nikon ambassadors, who's got the coolest job?
Yeah.
who has it? Is it you? Is it
no,
Jason in the
Jason. Jason's up there. He's the Hollywood, Bollywood thing. I took photos of Denzel Washington last week, all that sort of stuff.
Well, you can throw back all of your sports people.
I know. You know what? It's very strange and quite funny because he wanted to be a sports photographer and he's found his niche, and we're very similar in what we have to do anyway. Sometimes there's the big action scene, he's got to nail it, but they don't set explosions off too often.
So other than life art, who are some of your creative inspirations? Are they other photographers or other artists generally?
My biggest epiphany, and you know what, I don't remember when, but it's a while back, and I was told to go, was Sebastião Salgado's work, Magnum photographer. And the exhibition at Carr Gallery in New South Wales was the Workers' Exhibition, which was a big 8-year or 9-10 year assignment that he did, self-assignment on third world workers around the world. For me, that blew my head, but someone has been working on a photographic assignment for so long, and I realised, wow, there is a lot more to photography than turning up to an event. Sure. He worked on his project. But in saying that, his work, and it was black and white, but he told stories and they were visually outstanding. And then I said to myself that I was approaching photography so wrong, and I should tell stories or look at the bigger picture than just the guy running down the track. And I took that on board, and I've been kindly told that I'm the storyteller in my pictures, and it's kind of cool.
Does that come from interaction of people or contextualizing what they're doing, or how do you do it?
Them and the environment, and then with other athletes, and then with the people, and that's, I look at that now.
Like the shot from maybe your most famous shot from the Sydney Olympics with the fences?
Yeah.
That's all about the interaction.
It was the whole interaction and that side of it. And that was a big turning point for me too. I'd run the best photo of the Sydney 2000 Games. And I'm now introduced to people as the guy who took the best photo of the Sydney 2000 Games. That's 13 years ago. This is Dally, by the way, he won. So that's how it'll be on my gravestone. But I can still visually remember being not shaking, but I was absolutely smashed when I saw Sebastião Salgado's work, and I still follow it. And he does projects, and he does it so beautifully, and he's beautiful eye and so forth. And now as well as photography, I do get a lot of source of inspiration from other things other than photography. I love going to plays, or I love the theatre, or I love listening to music. And it doesn't have to be the mainstream stuff. I can kind of see now what people have put into the effort of lighting in this thing, or what the music, how it's been put together. There's got to be a creative process. And I don't know that person, but I can now work out they put a bit of it. A flower arrangement, a beautiful flower arrangement. It just doesn't come like that. As people think ahead and look at colours and look at shapes and so forth. So I get inspiration from that, and I get joy out of seeing all that. It doesn't have to be photography anymore. You know, originally I wanted to be trained in film, in cinematography and that. And going to a movie now, I look at things. I'm not just watching George Clooney out there, I'm looking at other things. Realising just how much work has been put into having that thing in the right place, etc., all the way it's been looked at.
How funny, you studied economics and marketing, you're interested in film. I studied economics and marketing and I studied film.
Well,
I should be shooting sports.
Should have done sport.
Forget these
Should
portraits.
have changed it. Well, all my young years have just been being there for sport. Sport was there, and my cousins just take me to the footy, and this is why I got to love it. And you know, I tried some weddings early on, and I was no good at it. I was too nervous, and I'm not good at portraits, and I'm comfortable with portraits, and I'm comfortable with product shooting, and I'm comfortable in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Put me on a field with 50,000 fans screaming their lungs out, and I'm in the best place in the world.
Is that because you're unnoticed, or is it a?
That's my love. That's my drive. I don't want to be in a studio telling the person to put their arm here or whatever.
So, but that said, a lot of your great shots are of an individual with good eye contact with the camera. Is that more you're letting them pose themselves, like the shot in the background here of Anna?
Yeah,
is that just hit the ball and I'll shoot you?
They are professional. They know. She was one of the best. Like, she could turn it on like that, and there's still some athletes out there that they can be rat bags, and then when the camera's ready to go, they can be charming and everything else.
Names. We want names.
Oh, Jesus! If I wrote a book and some names,
there's
some people I call. The day I do finish up, there'll be some stories told. There's some silly people out there, and there's some nice people as well. Sportsmen.
I see a quote on your wall. Does it have special significance? Hey, it's not brain surgery.
Yeah, I put that one up at a particularly stressful time when I was really thinking too hard. And no, I don't need to think that hard. Let it all just flow. And yeah, it's like a water thing. Just flow and go with it. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not brain surgery. But it is important. It's quite simple. But yeah, let it flow, and that's being a creative person. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So as a kid starting out shooting in the schoolyard, your mates playing football, could you ever have imagined that you'd end up as a Nikon ambassador?
No. It's interesting. The Nikon ambassadorship meant a lot. I said that before, but it put me on a pedestal which I never thought I would ever get to, and
gold medal pedestal.
The gold medal.
I don't know if you noticed that he's actually got the gold, silver, and bronze pedestal from the.
There's a long story to that one. Why it's in the office as a coffee table.
The world's biggest and most
you
prestigious coffee table.
You should see how many couriers come in and want to stand on it. It's hilarious. And take a photo of them on there. Right? The Nikon ambassadorship. I guess all photographers, we always adore. We have an icon. We always have someone to aspire to, and the Nikon ambassadorship put me on a pedestal where now people look up to me, and I never thought that was capable of doing. Never thought I would be there. Nor did I'm embarrassed sometimes by the attention. We're treated like rock stars. And it's something that it was, I wanted to be a great photographer, that's all, as good as I can be.
Yep.
And I may not be the greatest, I don't know that, but to others I am. That I give pleasure to people. So the ambassadorship, you know, it's not like your sporting one where you hear Nike have sponsored this athlete for $6 squillion. It's come to me with it's a badge that I now proudly wear. Mm-hmm. And I adore, and I do get emails from people and so forth, and I'm more than happy to talk. I'm not proud. I'm not elitist in any way. I don't feel that way, and that's a funny thing to say. Mm-hmm. But you know, if Nikon would say, "Well, do you want us to go not be an ambassador?" I would say, "No, I want to be an ambassador." It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah,
it's put a huge smile on my face, and it added years to my photo life.
So apart from your workflow has obviously changed immensely, how do you feel the introduction of digital has impacted the market of photography?
Yeah, it obviously has. The online world has made it change, and that your portfolio needs to be up, and if you want to be selling stock pictures, you've got to have your pictures up there, like the big agencies do. So there's that world. You've got to be au fait with all of that. My workflow at the end of a match would be maybe for an association or sponsor, whoever I'm working for. get pictures out in press releases, update their Facebook profiles, update their own websites with, this is he or she won the event, whatever. So the workflow is changing that. A lot of photographers maybe have come out of the woodwork because it's a bit more easier. I told you before I was an expert in film, and there weren't that many that knew their film that well.
Yeah.
So I had an advantage. Maybe digital has made that a little smaller. And so now we're getting a lot of
barriers
whinging.
to entry have been reduced.
Correct. It has.
Economic
It has.
days.
And look, I've heard some prices with this D800, and if that is the price, man, that's affordable for that quality. Hasselblad type quality at that price. It's insane.
Well, it really seems, in terms of specs, comparable to the S2 from Leica.
Correct. So you're going to be paying a fraction of the price. So the entry level's there. Maybe there are a few more photographers out there. I've lost some work because of digital, because the PR person will take a photo with their little. They don't need of a press conference. They don't need to hire me anymore. It's not a big priority picture.
Sure.
So now I'm hearing a lot of whinging and moaning. There's too many photographers out there, or wannabe photographers, are giving their away work for nothing and so forth. And I'm blown away by that, and a lot of people are giving up, and I don't believe in that.
Do you think it's different for sports? I mean, there's, say if you're in the wedding business, then you've got you charging $5,000 and me charging $1,000. You don't necessarily know what they're going to deliver, whereas in sports with your back, well, I guess there's still, you come in with a reputation, don't you?
Yeah, you come in with a reputation. You've also got to have the gear. I mean, the PR person doesn't have a 600mm to try and shoot the batsman out in the middle of the field. So I have that advantage. But a lot of guys are just giving up. People need to buy the gear, and it's not cheap. And that's why I advise a lot of people, you've got a full-time job right now, use that money to buy the gear that will make you the money later on. Mm-hmm. They're not going in with the right gear.
Yeah.
Now, what can Joe Blow take the same photos as me? I don't know. Yes, maybe he can with the gear that's available now, with some cropping and the digital world and how well they do their Photoshop. It can be, but look at the celebrity chefs nowadays that are on TV, and you can buy a $2 burger at McDonald's, or you can pay $30 for a burger by a celebrity chef. He's used his personality, he's used good ingredients, he's done the right marketing, he's done everything. So some people are more than happy to pay $100 a meal at their restaurant.
Sure.
Or you can go to Macca's and get. So the digital world for me now is it could be like big McDonald's out there, and there's lots of them going out there in pictures, but you've got to differentiate your picture. So I don't believe in this negativity, and I'm trying to preach it. I don't know if I can. And it's easy from someone who's in my position to do that, and I use my Nikon ambassadorship to try and promote that.
Sure.
Even on my Facebook page now, I'm starting to do a little bit of preaching, because too many guys are giving up, and too many guys are whinging, and it's no different. You just get out there and be the businessman that you're meant to be.
Yeah.
A good photographer, yes, good product, and get out there and do it. Yeah. Why the celebrity chef? I don't understand how this celebrity chef thing came about.
If you were to associate yourself, Tony, are you the Gordon Ramsay or the Heston Blumenthal or
I'll be little George on MasterChef.
Accessible but
Yeah.
talented.
You know what? I went to his restaurant. I'm a Greek origin. He is. You know what? I paid good money for his food. My mum can make the same amount. Same food.
Maybe not quite as decorative.
But George has done it well. In a stylish restaurant, and great service, and the whole thing. And that's what we. The whole package. You're a craftsman. You're a creative. Get out there and do it. Don't use digital as the excuse to not work hard.
I know you said it's important to have the right gear, but for people starting out, I often get people saying, I want to do this, but I need to wait until I buy X.
Okay.
What about, going out and shooting on your 70 to 300 kit lens on the weekend if that's all you've got? Should you let it be a barrier when you're starting?
No, it's not a barrier, but use what you've got and use it right and use it well. Even some people go, it's raining, I'm not going to take pictures, but hey, use the rain in some way or form. Turn a negative into a positive. That's a cliche, but that's exactly what it is. And some of the best sports pictures are in the rain.
Sure.
Guys splashing in mud and all of that. If you don't have the right gear, use what you've got. And I have been in jobs where I've brought the wrong gear with me. I've had to make do with what I've done, with what I've got closer, I've got further back, got higher, lower, whatever it is, just to make up for my mistake. If your kit's only got that lens, then use it.
Yep.
Think ahead again. It's preparation. Don't turn up with a minute to go.
Sure. Excellent. Well, I think that covers us all off today. Thank you for being with us. I'm sure that's been a great help to so many people.
I hope so.
So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was our first episode of Inside the Photographer Studio, and I was really honoured to be able to have Delhi as our lead-in. If you haven't already, check out his website and find him on Facebook, and you would have seen on the lead-in intro. Some of his images are just astounding. If you didn't know him beforehand, I bet you recognise some of the images. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.